what's going to happen to automotive industry during and post-COVID era. Let me give you a little bit brief background about who we are. Aeris is a 20 years old M2M IoT company. So we've been around for a long time, and we've been talking about IoT and machine-to-machine connectivity even before world started conceiving the term IoT, right? We were basically selling the M2M connectivity, and then over a period of time, once we pioneered the M2M connectivity, the organization thought, why shouldn't we look at the platforms, because data is the new oil, and we should look at platform to develop the platform and let our customers use the platform, including the connectivity, to automate the services that they are providing internally to internal stakeholders or external stakeholders. So we do end-to-end. We have end-to-end M2M connectivity and platform. We have 15 million devices connected world over, and we are mostly, I don't know if it is worth mentioning here, the biggest consumer of IoT services is automotive. It remains automotive. It is still automotive. And I think this next sector will be the health. And post-COVID, I think that will take a huge intake from the health sector. But we have been focused on automotive for a long time. So we have 15 million devices on our network today. We manage and process 3.5 billion IoT messages per day. And when I say we process them, we make it meaningful. We give some ideas for people to take decisions. As I said, we operate in 190 countries. We give local linguistic space, support to people. We have 24/7 GSOC and help desk available. We deploy from connectivity to the solution platform as a service through cloud. So it is a single platform that we deploy all our services through, and which is manageable, scalable across the verticals, right? We have been working in Indonesia. We looked at APAC market since last 2 years very aggressively. And we picked up Indonesia as to be our first focused country in APAC. So when I say that, that means the first priority country where we wanted to set our foot in and grow our business is Indonesia. And, we have our local team there. Hatta, who is on this meeting, is one of my colleagues in Indonesia. He takes care of the business in Indonesia. And we have a very good customer base today in Indonesia. And since the economy of Indonesia was growing, automotive overall with Grab and other ride-hailing, sharing companies and other logistics companies was and is growing. So that is my focus, and that is our company's focus. And we are going to invest and grow that market as far as the IoT is concerned. We also work with the education institutes where Hatta and I work with them to see if we can, develop a curriculum with the universities which can, help students, engineering students, to understand IoT from the very beginning. And then once they come out with the basic knowledge, they can work with people on the use cases and implementation of this technology. There are some customers that we have across APAC. We have a lot of customers, and as you can see, there are a lot of customers which are from Indonesia and are present on this slide. One of our biggest customers remains Grab and Celis in various forms. Then we have ASIOTI, Aeon. These are the verticals that we work across: fleet, OEM, utility, and insurance. Now, moving to the topic, if you look at what has happened with this pandemic, which we call as COVID-19, it has had a drastic impact on, one, on the health side of the people, People are demotivated. People are they don't have the clue what's going to happen next. There is a lot of stress across the board with everybody, let it be a homemaker or a person who is going out and working, or a school-going kid. There is a huge stress in the society. Apart from that, the financial impact of this thing is also big. It is the biggest. It is bigger crisis than the financial crisis that we have had. So there is the world economy is going to go down. As I said, it's going to go down by 3%. And there are a lot of auto shows, big auto shows, which have been shut, which are not happening. There are a lot of manufacturing which has been closed. There is a lot of disruption in the supply chain of, particularly of auto manufacturing, which has got disrupted. China, I think if you look at China, China is one of the countries whose growth is going to go down 6.1%, and that is huge for a country like China in 2019. And it's expected to go further down by 2.1% on top of that 6.1% in 2020. China used to be the anchor country for shaping up the economy in Asia. My take is after COVID-19, that will not be the case, because the last time China gave a stimulus of 8% of their GDP to come out of financial crisis. I don't see that happening this time, because it has still not ended in that country as well. So saying that, you can see the impact, overall impact on various sectors, which I have on the slide. It shows all red. Saying that, if we move towards what is IoT what's going to happen to this sector which we represent, which Aeris represents, we understand that this market is going to grow, because the demand for the digitization and contactless information is going to grow. There will be a need for increased transparency, a reduction of capital investment, and automations of process. As I said, the digital connect will take over in a big way. So I expect it to grow 13% CAGR. It's going to be in 2019. Our estimate was it will be 150 billion, and in 2021 it's going to be 234 billion. So the annual growth rate in this IoT segment is going to be 13.7% post-COVID, and there are various factors which are going to, which are going to impact that, or which are going to make that happen. Increased focus on remote monitoring framework from everywhere, from home, from office, in the healthcare segment, in the manufacturing segment, in every segment. Say in the financial segment, more and more online payments, more and more contactless payments. My assumption is people will stop using the credit cards. People will use more and more wallets, digital wallets on the phone to pay for the services that they. So if I put this all together, there is the assumption that we have that this market of digitization, and which is fueled by IoT at the back end, because end of the day, for the data to travel, there has to be something at one end and something at the other end, and in between is the layer which we called internet. So and two things get connected, so that's called Internet of Things. So our assumption is that this market is going to grow, and hence the importance of the impact that it will have on the automotive. So if you look at it, automotive, one of the biggest segments that uses automotive as its tools, apart from manufacturers or any other thing, is the logistics. So and that impacts everything. That impacts manufacturing, that impacts R&D, that impacts people transportation, that impacts goods transportation. So it's the important tool that you have as part of logistics. So what's going to happen in there? So if you look at the the trends that are coming out of this post-COVID, social distancing, people working from home, people have to maintain adequate distance while they are in a manufacturing unit. Thermal scans, doing the scan and sending data back to the server wherein it can be processed within no time. And the person who is going to decide, should I let this person in or out, will have an information on his screen about the person who is he testing, that happening. So it is going to create a new normal, and it is going to create a new base of people using IoT and digitization. Remote access is going to be the key. As I said, it's becoming more and more important for every vertical to access every services or to support their customers remotely across the world. How do you do in any of the sectors? How do you do that? You make sure that your technology is in place, your end-to-end connectivity is in place, you have the proper software to make sure that you can analyze things out there, and then you can give the decision tools to management to make the decision. So access and remote access, both are going to be very important and key for taking the economy from where it is and taking it out from the slump and taking it back to the growth area. If you look at the visible trends that we have, digital twins, and which are helping the scenario, in manufacturing or people who use automotive as a tool, making sure that they understand the remote diagnostics, they understand they understand the remote availability of those tools, they understand the remote they understand the remote problems, and so that they can fix the problems remotely. So end of the day, the technology is going to play the key role to make sure that all these three sectors, which I said, remote diagnostics, remote assistance, and remote maintenance, predictive maintenance, is going to be key in all these sectors, in manufacturing, in automotive, and in supply and logistics. As I was talking before to Ritik, that in India they have developed an app called Arogya Setu, and once you do the input about your health on that app and you put on your Bluetooth on, it actually tells you if you cross any person or if you're living in a vicinity where you have COVID-19 patients which are very near to you. So it tells you on basis of that data how vulnerable you are to the disease if you are very nearby in a locality or a person who is already infected. And also government is taking the clue from here, that how many patients do I have, how many are increasing, what do I do with the increased number, and how do I reduce the number. And they keep pushing the new guidelines, new statutory warnings on through this application to the people who can access this. And there is a lot of messaging which happens on this application from the government side, so that the citizens are aware and they make sure that they remain safe. As I said, in automotive, it's going to be a growth area for IoT. The logistics is the biggest industry which uses vehicles as a tool. So remote tracking, tracing, maintaining, preventing, predicting where my fleet is. What time will my fleet leave from a place, what time my fleet will reach a place, what time the sender should be able to keep his goods ready to be transported, what time the receiver should get the labor to make sure that they take the goods from the transporter, how is my fleet doing, what is the route that they're taking, is my fleet having any problems on the way, is my driver okay? Is my driver safe? All those important things will come into play. They were already in the picture, but the COVID will force people to understand this in a much better and in a much better way, and make it mission critical kind of an application for the fleet owners to implement these solutions to make sure that their business grows and they are in control of their fleet. To make sure that they control the fleet, they chalk out the area where a particular fleet has to go. Geofencing. They can do the geofence. They can know about which vehicle is going where. Is my vehicle doing okay or not? And end of the day, all this, which I was alluded to, the data which it consumes is going to get connected to the smart city data lake, and then which gives a picture to the government that what is happening overall within the industry, with the sectors like logistics, with the sectors like health, where the telehealth is going to be the key, with the sectors in manufacturing, where more and more automation will take place. This will end of the day give government more and more flexibility or insights about setting new guidelines as they go and proceed into this era. As I said, in the manufacturing sector, it's going to be imperative to invest in more and more automation, and Industry 4.0 is going to become very real, and the push coming will be from COVID-19, because you have to make sure that the people working in the automotive, in the manufacturing sector, should keep social distancing. They have the proper norms of safety. Hence, the automation of every kind on the shop floor to the logistics to the delivery will take place and will have to be implemented. If you look at the importance of working your fleet through an application, as I said, they're tracking, maintaining the entire fleet, where my fleet is, what is the productivity of my fleet, how can I track my fleet anytime, anywhere. That's going to be a key part. And Aeris, as I said, through our platform, is currently offering those solutions to their customers. We have a platform wherein you can manage, maintain, and improve the efficiency of your fleet, manage, maintain, and improve the efficiency of the people who are running your fleet. Make sure that the people are restricted to the areas which are safe for them to take their fleet. Make sure that people are taking optimal routes to make sure your expenses are reduced. Make sure that the deliveries are happening on time, so that the penalties that are levied on you, late delivery penalties that are levied on you, are reduced. So there are a lot of things that you can do with the Aeris fleet management or automation in fleet that we can provide you, and you can take the advantage of this in this era and keep your business kind of running. There's going to be a huge disruption in the way we commute also. If you look at the new norms, I'm sure, as Indonesia uses more and more taxis, if you look at new norms in the taxis, they are putting the separators in the taxis, they are putting some, disinfecting fans in the taxis. It's going to take a toll. So does that mean that, there'll be more and more private vehicles on the road where people feel safe, they will feel clean? How do they manage and maintain their own vehicles? How do they know where my vehicle is, what is happening to it? And how does a person who is in the business of servicing those vehicles and cars will know how, in what condition your car is? Because of COVID, everybody will be in a fix to, how many times do I need to take my car for service? Or will it be the service provider who tells me that, hey, it is the time for you to get the car in, and the service provider makes sure that he does not have more than X number of cars, so that he can maintain the social distancing or safety and security of the people. I think public transportation will take a bigger hit, because there will be only so many people who will be allowed on a public transport, bus, train. I don't know what's going to happen to the international airlines. Honestly, you have not heard of social distancing of 1.5 meters so far. which which COVID-19 is pushing us to do. I don't know what is going to happen to the airline industries, how many seats they are going to keep vacant while they fly from a country to other country. So, end of the day, what I'm trying to bring home is a point that the key to solve and make and continue the business and keep the business running will be through introducing more and more automation, will be through introducing more and more remote technology to maintain, manage, and make sure that the assets that we are using for the business remain protected, remain productive, and remain manageable. As I said, we work with various sectors. Financiers, it gets easy for them to finance the assets once they know that the asset is connected. They have the visibility of the asset. They know in what condition asset is. It becomes very easy for them to finance that asset. Insurance companies, when they know that the asset is connected, they understand if the claims are good, they are fraudulent, or what the claim is all about. They can even visualize if the claims which have been submitted by people are claims genuine, and reduce the non-productive asset list from their overall balance sheet. So proactive demand for fleet maintenance ensure better aftermarket sales. So once your asset is connected, the after sales value of that asset is very reasonably manageable, because you always have the digital record of the health of your asset, and people can make sure that they validate the health of the vehicle due to the data available on the platform because of the connected car software that was running on the platform. That is it, Steve, from my side as far as the the automotive industry is concerned. If you have questions, and if there is a discussion, I'll be happy to take questions and answers.
Thank you, Ranjeet, for your presentation. And I already got a few questions for you. The first question is, can you please elaborate on the IoT service provided to Excel Axiata? Is it also related to their fleet management solution?
We are their
Yeah.
So we are their technology partners. They do a lot of IoT services, and we partner them on developing technologies across those services.
And I think I already I a little bit curious related to the now is with the pandemic, the pandemic and the crisis, the economic crisis. The companies will be in one side. They have to going using technology, right? Like more automation
Right.
and like mobile technology, etc. But in the other hand, they have to reduce costs, of course, because uh, they cash flow is very tight. So
Yeah.
how do you think about that? Is any like the IoT solution can give like bridging some solution for them, because it is kind of hard. You have to update your technology, but in another side, your cash flow is not running well.
Yeah. So the beauty of the digitization is that it does not put a lot of stress on your capital expense, right? Because the digitization, for example, IoT, the software that I said we provide to the finance, it's not necessary that this will be a capital expense. this is an operational expense. That means you pay for the services that you get out of this. And the beauty is, when we, from Aeris side, when we give you, when we deploy the platform with your company, we don't want you to buy any software. We want you to buy the and compute things across various verticals, let it be health, automotive, or industrial. Then we charge you like the electricity people charge you for the service, right? So digitization is giving more and more benefits to people from doing less capex expenses and getting into more operational expenses, which saves a lot of cash in your hand, and you can use that cash for other important things, right? In the meantime, so that means you can actually get double the resources out of the same cash which you would have spent on doing any capital investment during this time. So yes, there are OPEX models that we work on, and those models are built along with the customer, and we work with them to see how they can pay for these services. And as I said, these services are delivered via cloud. They don't sit necessarily inside their infrastructure, so there is no infrastructural cost that the customer has to incur. Hence, yes, digitization from that sense can be a very relieving thing, which involves only operational expense and not the capital expense.
When it's all sell as the operational expenditure, and how about the
Yes.
Aeris itself? Because it is any challenge to your company facing during the COVID-19 pandemic era right now?
Okay, so let me talk about Aeris, what we are doing right now. As I said that we are,
Hello.
as I said that we are the, as I said, we are we have been in this industry for last 20 years.
Yeah.
And during this time, what we are doing is we are taking entire sales force and reskilling them. We are finding new ways of how do we approach our current customers and how do we reach out to the new customers. We are actually investing. We are hiring people. We hired people, 4 new people, one in training to make sure that we can take the advantage of this time to train across our organization, and then a couple of people in product management so that they can study the market and tell us which are the new areas where Aeris should focus and provide help during this pandemic to companies to revive their financial structure.
Okay, interesting. And there is now is so many related to the lockdown. There's many red zone area for the forbidden, like in Indonesia. I don't know in India, but some area you cannot bypass because it is lockdown or red zone. It is any solution from Aeris who can manage the driver to avoid any red zone area? It's like all.
So yes, if the red zone areas are on Google, there are a lot of applications which can show the distance of a particular person in a red zone. So as I said, I showed one slide where it says geofencing, right? You can clearly set up an alarm on your vehicles to not enter the area which is declared as red zone area by the government. And as you know, from a software side of business, we are an innovative company. We are always innovating and creating the product roadmap which can help in providing solutions of new dynamic situations. So the short answer to that is yes, we can, and there are products that can help people from not being exposed to COVID-19 and make sure that they distance themselves from it.
Okay. And there is a question from us. There is a two question from him. First question is, how about the regulation when artificial intelligence make a damage when any bug or error happen? And the second question is, what if IoT it's been hijacked? Do you have any protocols that been developed to prevent or to solve that?
So I don't know if you have been following our if you have been following our CTO Z. His name is Z Mohsen. Uh, I don't know if you follow him. Our entire product range that we offer is beyond a military grade security. There was a long time back, there was a discussion from a lot of the big five companies, IBM, Intel, Microsoft, and various other, various other security companies. Which were talking about how do we seek, once we are going digital, how do we make sure all those digital transactions and digital data transactions are secure. So in the world today, there are a lot of solutions that are available to make sure that the IoT is secured end to end. There is encryption, the data is not leaked, hackers cannot hack it, the packets which are sent are encrypted at both ends, at the sending end and receiving end. So we make sure that that happens. And since the hackers or the people who create virus, they always keep innovating, hence the industry is innovating. So I would say today we provide a very secure software management and data management, and our products are military grade, behind military grade security. And so happens with the AI. The security challenges and threats keep growing, and we have an ASO kind of an organization which always keeps looking at those threats and challenges and develops the strategy to make sure that we are not compromised with those threats and challenges of security in our area over a period of time.
Okay. And another question from Fatan. He asking about what is Aeris doing for Indonesian police? Is any contact with police?
In this times when you know policing is a very tough job, honestly, and as many people you have for policing is less. Let it be any country. It's not only Indonesia. Let it be any developed country. It's maybe US. And as many policemen you can have is less. But then there is a ceiling of having people. So what we are doing to them is we're making sure that the utilities, the vehicles that they use are connected, and there is a command and control center, and the vehicles are based on the response, on the different type of response. Is it a critical response? Is it a normal response? Is it just due to an accident? So we have color coded the vehicles, and the person sitting on the command control center can immediately understand how far are my vehicles, which vehicle is how far is my ambulance, police ambulance, from the place where the accident has taken place. So it has given them a lot of in-depth understanding of the positioning of the vehicles, and the time to address a situation has reduced for them considerably. So in a short form, we have been able to help them to increase the efficiency and reduce the response time for the public crisis in whichever sense that they have.
Okay. And there is a question. Oh yeah, there is a question from Andriadi. He will talk to you directly. Kang Andri, I already unmute. Halo, Kang Andri.
Yeah, kedengaran?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Hi, Ranjeet.
Hi.
Thanks for sharing. I'm Andri from Aeris. I'm also vice chairman of Indonesia IoT Association.
Hi, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm wondering how your company will do kind of partnership with a local, local developers or local makers be that device makers or connectivity platform owners or application platform kind of things. So just to give you some idea that we believe that similar solution that you have probably there's some players as well in the local market, but be that they are the actual developer or the actual makers, or probably they are some kind of representatives from another principles. For example, like ourselves, we are playing in quite similar area as you are, but more onto the related to livestock tracking, livestock farming kind of thing. So if you are track cars, but we are tracking cattle and cows, something like that. So what kind of your view or your plan in terms of to do the partnership with the local players?
Andre, so it's a very good question. Thanks for asking that question. As you would have seen in the presentation, you saw we have already a connectivity player named ASIOTI for the connectivity that we want to do. As Aeris, we have a very clear policy of partnering and going to market jointly. You would have seen a name. If you look at, there's a name called Hello Tractor. They are into tractor management, end-to-end tractor management, booking, tracking, everything else. But the back end of that tractor management is run on Aeris. So we have different kind of partnerships with different solution providers, wherein we work with them on either having the hardware side of business, or we work with them on utilizing our software side of business, combining the business and go to market together. So the right answer to this question is we are open for all kind of partnerships so that we can go together and enhance the addressable market for both companies.
Yeah, I mean, it's important for players abroad to be tap in the market together, go to market to GTM together with local players. So as the spokesperson from association, I'm very expecting you to, or any players, in fact, to make it. We are very open for doing such partnership. It has to be. It doesn't have to be formally, but it can be case by case basis. But we are encouraging you to do some such partnership. So you can reach out myself or Mbak Pita to do kind of actual. So if let's say you have certain opportunities that you want to do the GTM together, we are encouraging to do that. Right?
Sure, as I said, we are all open, and Hatta, our local country manager for Indonesia, he will reach out. And I forgot to tell you one thing. Front end. If you look at the front end software of many companies, there are many companies who are now getting into the IoT space because they see they see it is becoming more and more relevant. And post COVID, probably you will see more companies entering the digital space because they will see they will see it getting more relevant than it was before COVID. But the only thing which differentiates from us and the companies is the backend intelligence system that we have, AI system that we have developed over 20 years, which gives a lot of insights to the user on various vectors, right? And the users can make different business decisions, critical decisions based on that data. I think that is the biggest differentiation that we have. And then the connectivity, as I said, one SIM, you can have a customer in Indonesia and second customer, they may have a second office in Thailand, Vietnam. You don't have to go and talk to the local connectivity providers separately in Indonesia, separately in Vietnam, separately in Thailand. We have one platform and we connect you across the globe on that platform. So two things. One is the basic connectivity. Second is the ecosystem relationship that we have with the device manufacturers across the board, OEMs we have. And then third pillar that we have is the backend AI system, which draws a lot of meaningful analysis for our customers. And hence, they grade us bit separately on the higher side than the usual service provider, because these are the three very main areas, the bedrock of our solution that we provide. And on top of it, as I said, we keep innovating. We keep creating products to address the market. But partnering is the key to us, and I will look forward to partner with you and see, how we can take both the solutions together, and where is the point where we marry both the solutions and take it to market together, for sure.
Yeah, because I'm not only speaking on behalf of my company or my business, right? But I speak on behalf of the whole members of association. Our members have general kind of solution, but there are also a very local solution. For example, there's a solution for shrimp farming or fish farming, something like that. That's probably quite local in terms of probably the device, or in terms of the hardware is quite general, but the way they handle, they fine tune the solution so that they fit to the local farmers, for example. So those kind of devices or the platform that they have will be is I think it's going to speed up your deployment. But I'm also wondering, since you have global footprints, probably you can also partner with the device makers or application developers to bring solution from Indonesia to another country, like you said, right? Since you have footprints in other countries, so I believe that is also possible, right?
Sure, why not? That is what I was saying. We make sure that we have a symbiotic relationship so that we can work together. And when I was saying it gives us a great opportunity to access more ecosystem of Indonesia through the association. I've been looking for that to happen for a long time.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Lanjut, Pak.
Yes. Ranjeet. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes. Okay. There's some person that need you to stop your screen because they want to see your gesture more.
Oh, okay.
Your face, your handsome face.
Yes.
Thank you.
On screen. Okay.
There you go.
So
there
it's
you go.
easily to understand. And there's another question from Vikesh. Does Aeris have driverless solution in their radar? If yes, how far is from the reality?
You're talking autonomous driving, right?
Yes.
It is okay. Let me say, we work with a lot of companies. The pioneers in that: Tesla, Google, Microsoft. There are a lot of companies out there, but honestly, this is in the trial space, and for Asia, I think it's very far for being reality. Considering our population, considering our use of vehicles, the autonomous driving is very far. It is realistic. People are already doing the beta testing or level 2 testing in the Western world, more so in Silicon Valley in US, but it is still not very near to be commercially deployed. There are people are working on more and more safety measures around it. There have been cases wherein there have been POCs or deployments been done in China, but our feeling is it will still remain in the connected vehicle and understanding more and more what is happening inside the vehicle. How do we make sure that we keep a distance from a containment area, a red zone area, make sure the people inside the vehicle are safe. Connected car will have more and more powerful uptake than the autonomous driving. You have to look at the livability of the drivers also. Driver is the biggest workforce if you look at Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand, because these are also the vacation destinations. So if you look at and combine all these things which I said, I think autonomous driving for Asia is very far.
Oh yeah. And what is from your perception and from your you have go to around country in Asia, how do you think about the most solution, IoT solution related about the automotive? It is fit for Indonesian market and compared to another country?
I think as I said, for Aeris, Indonesia is the most focused country in Southeast Asia that we have. Although Thailand is one of the biggest consumers of IoT today, honestly, in the automotive sector. But Indonesia is number 2 in consuming the IoT technology in the automotive sector, in the various forms that it has. And then there are players like us who make sure that we tune our offerings to the local requirements, whichever market we go into. So, as I said, we work with some of the ride-hailing companies and taxi companies in Indonesia. We have customized the solution for them so that it fits them best. We work with some logistics companies in Indonesia. We have again optimized our solution, customized our solution for them so that it works best for their company. So yes, for Indonesia, I think the real growth is yet to come. We are yet to see the real growth. There's a huge potential in this market.
How to make an integrated solution for the logistic company in Indonesia to the government related to the logistic and to the and the overseas Indonesia? How do you think it is challenging related to especially to make one solution from the logistic company to the government related to logistic and with the port authority? It is
so I got you. I got your question. How difficult is this to get integrated, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So let me give you an example. So we offer our APIs as service. I was telling just to Park that our differentiation is on the back end. We offer the APIs. So a company like Aeris, which is a global company, it is not very difficult to integrate different set of solutions and provide the backend to those solutions. So we can easily integrate the data feed to the government, and we can easily integrate our data feed to the port solution and provide the one platform wherein the government can see what is happening on the overall logistics and the port can see what is happening on overall logistics. So that is what I was saying. The company like us, which has had an experience from last 20 years into this area, we have the means to integrate end to end. But the only challenge here is, it's not that from the port area. The challenge is, how do you work with government things to get integrated. It takes a lot of time for government to integrate and create a PPP model wherein they have public companies working with them, so that they can take the advantage of this. And that is true for any government, let it be government in India, US, any other country. It's a bit difficult to work with government, but if you are asking me, is there technology that we can do that? Yes, we can, because we are currently in the private space doing that. We are providing the solutions to companies which are using our technology to populate their front end, and they use our technology at the back end to understand the data on their front end. So and that same can be used, those technologies can be used for the government to understand what is happening in the logistics side, and for the port authorities for getting data into their whatever tool they use to monitor them. So the technology is there. It is the question how easy these two departments make for us to work with them. So I will look at Pahendri to help us from an association point. I will tell after this meeting, I will have a word with Hatha, and I think we should get connected and see how we can work with them and provide this technology. But again,
yeah.
the technology
Let's
is there.
make things happen.
Yeah, the technology is there, and we have it with us.
Okay, so it makes things happen. And there is another question from Angga Aditya. He's interested with the digital twin. What your solution using digital twin at manufacturing industry? It been possible installed? It mean about stock and goods or material.
You can you can industry 4.0. You can do a lot of stuff. You can automate right from manufacturing to the logistics, and or you can take a particular piece out of it. Say for example, if you want to do only logistics automation, you can do that. If you want to do end-to-end manufacturing automation, we can do that. So it depends which slice of that industry 4.0 you want to automate. We have solution for that. We can have a conversation. I'm again saying, Hatha and you can or you can submit your request to the association, and association will get back to Hatha and we can work with you. Depends which piece do you want to automate, which is the piece that is available to automate. Is it the manufacturing piece? Is it the logistics piece? Is it the goods movement piece? Is it the material piece within the factory? We can work across these pieces. Or is it the people within the factory? You can even manage and track and trace the people within the factory. Say for example, there was a case which came to us, and it's a good example. It was an international company based out of Indonesia, wherein they said, in my shop floor, I have only 5 senior technicians, and these are my key, very senior technicians who know how to work on fixing the problems. But I have only 5 across the manufacturing. Now my problem is, if these 5 are attending to the problems in different areas, I don't know where they are. So that means I have to send somebody to locate them. And then I don't know how far who is from the area where I need the important, where I need the important interventions of this person. How far is it? Who is how far from that area? How do I reduce how do I reduce the chaos, and how do I manage it better? So there was a solution that we provided was to track those people, have them tracked, and the person could see on the factory map where this person is, how far which person is from the current problem, and they could increase the efficiency of those 5 people. I'm just giving you one example. How do you use your resources in a very productive way by using IoT as a technology for that? So we can do that also. So as I said, there are various pieces we can work with any piece, and we'll be very happy to work on those pieces. You can come to the forum here. You can submit your name and list to them, and Hatha and I will work through that.
Okay, and it is sometimes the customer or our potential customer always asking about the percentage, how many efficient, the percentage number about efficiency before using the IoT solution and after using IoT solution. Do you have some like case or?
Depends on if you there's a beautiful analogy that I would want to draw, and you will have to bear with me on this one.
Okay.
If you remember, we used to have tailors where we used to go and get our suits and shirts stitched, right?
Yeah.
And we go to the malls today and buy ready-made suits. So what we do is we try a couple of them and take one of them and we go from a mall, from a ready-made garment place. But if you're going for a wedding suit and you got to stitch it, you go to that tailor a couple times so that he looks at the body, he looks at the fit, he does certain changes in that suit, and finally he gives you a suit which fits your body. I want people to look at the solution business from a technology with that angle, right? In this space, there is no one size fits all. It depends on what are you doing, how does efficiency look like to a company, and what is the solution that you're providing to make that efficiency. So, I cannot give you a percentage, but it can always be more than 50%. For sure, but I cannot give you a fixed percentage because it depends on the workload that you're talking about.
So it actually customized for every company, right?
Yes.
Okay, there's another question from us. In healthcare, we know time is so important, so we need the ambulance to transport patient as fast as possible. It is also about the traffic control. After we control another vehicle to give it line, had it automation applied?
So if you look at it, I had mentioned smart city. Smart city has one of the biggest element that smart city has that before I go there, I wanted to talk about a solution that we are providing today in this current situation. There are partners who are working with the government ambulances and making them connected so that government knows where the ambulance is and how fast this ambulance can reach to a COVID patient who is in an emergency need of oxygen or any other any other medicine. So that we are already doing in Indonesia. Second part is that, from the smart city angle, once you integrate all this data, as I said, all this data, end of the day, then goes into the smart city lake. And then the smart city control room can also manage the traffic management, the red light management, to give a green area for an ambulance to go through the traffic. You have this bus BRTs which Indonesia has, at least Jakarta. Whenever I've been traveling there for the last 4 years now. Actually, I've spent 1 full year staying there in Jakarta. The BRTs can be used, one of the best things for the ambulance to move from one place to another place, which you can keep free. As I said, again, it is the integration of the data coming from the vehicle, getting into the data lake of smart city, and then the city management manages the traffic. The digitalization can actually help solve this problem from end to end.
Okay, let me talk in bahasa, right?
Sure.
Jadi ini apa namanya? Sorry. Bapak-bapak, ibu-ibu mau ada pertanyaan lain untuk dua penanya terakhir, monggo bisa langsung di unmute aja. Atau mau di chat juga bisa. Saya buka pertanyaan untuk dua penanya terakhir. I will open question for two last participant. That's okay for you?
Yeah, please.
Pak Bun, Mas Kamal, Pak. Oh, this
Any good reference to read? Read the books which motivate you to keep yourself stress-free, depression-free, and which can give you the insights about what is happening in the world. How do we keep ourselves motivated? I won't. I am not the. I'm not the guru on recommending the IoT books, because I am a business. I am a tech business guy. I look at the problems in real world, and then I go back to my people and talk to them about those problems, and I tell them to create solutions for those problems. So I'm really sorry, I don't know which books you should read for IoT, but for sure you should read books. Hit Refresh from Microsoft CEO is one of the best books that you should read. You should read those books.
There is a question from Pak Teguh Prasetya. He is the chairman of Indonesia IoT Association. Any regulation needed in transportation to regulate your solution for transportation?
No.
So there's no.
It is already covered under the Indonesian smart city regulation that they have. So no.
So it's already comply the regulation, right?
Yes. All our devices are locally Indonesian certified device, Government of Indonesia certified devices. So.
And for now, how many partner or the customer that you already handle in Indonesia?
Hey, we have more than, I think, we have more than 50 customers in Indonesia. Okay. We have 4 partners, and we have more than 50 customers in Indonesia. And these are big, honestly. These are not small customers. These are big customers. $1.5 million over 3 years kind of customers.
So it is challenging to handle customer from Indonesia compared to another country?
It is not. I've been doing this job for last 4 or 5 years now. I used to manage in my previous birth. I used to manage even Japan as a sales guy. It's not, because Indonesia, I always feel it's my second home. I kind of relate to that place, and it's very easy for me to manage it. And then, as I said, I have a local person. Hatta is our local country manager in Indonesia. So it is not difficult for me. Honestly, for me, I'm talking about myself. As I said, I always feel Indonesia and the people of Indonesia as my second home. Sometimes I am there more than I am in India. So yeah.
Okay. So maybe for the last, we can give Hatta to give some understanding or share some issue related to Indonesia market. Hatta, you're still here?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Hi. I will start my video.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, boss, for this kind of good discussion for me. For us also.
Welcome, buddy.
Yeah. For Indonesia, Aeris, I handle the sales in Indonesia for the Aeris communication. Most of our customers is local company. Actually, for the outside of India and APAC is Indonesia is the biggest one. For this, we are committed to chasing to have a good business in Indonesia. That's why if there is some kind of company or person that wants to have a partnership with us, you can reach me on LinkedIn or WhatsApp, or you can contact the association for this. That according to Pak Ranjeet before, we are seriously and continuously wants to have a business in Indonesia. Mostly of our solution now in the IoT telematic, and we are based on that, and we are focused on that. So this kind of good relationship if we have added numbers of partners in Indonesia for this. So thank you. Any question?
Maybe the last question. There is a question that it is from government. How do you think about if in the future there is a regulation related to the local content for the IoT?
We are local, right? We are a local company in Indonesia. As I said, we already have people in Indonesia, and we have partnership with local companies who use our technology to provide solutions in Indonesia. So, in various senses, we are already local.
Let me add, boss. For those regulation, actually for Ranjeet Koul said that we are mostly now we are local. For the APAC region, we are handled from Indonesia everything. And for the IoT device and IoT resource for the local company, we can build a application or solution on top of Aeris. So we are reaching the local content for that. But for the device, we are trying to get the local device now. We trying to get the certified local device also. So we are not we don't have any problem with the local content.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Wow, that's a very good. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Actually, Ranjit, for the very fruitful conversation today. And for the Hatta, thank you, Hatta. Is there any question or comment?
Thank you.
For the last,
Yeah,
I will unmute.
I will. Thanks a lot. I would like to thank the association and you for giving me time to spend some time with the people who have come on and connected with us. I will look forward for a very very fruitful relationship with the association so that we can increase our footprint in Indonesia. I would like to thank the participants for taking out time and listening to me for over an hour now. Thanks a lot for this opportunity. Thank you.
Pak Teguh, ada ini terakhir Pak buat penutup.
Enggak lah. Thank you for your presentation, Ranjit and Pak Hatta. Hopefully this will speed up implementation of the IoT even during the COVID situation, during our work from home as well. And thank you for all participant. Terima kasih teman-teman semua bisa berpartisipasi di sini. Dan sama-sama. Mungkin ini juga this is kind of like a serial webinar that is conducting by the association. So again, thank you everybody.
Terima kasih Pak. Thank you.
Terima kasih.
Syukriya, Ranjit.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Terima kasih.